Greetings, Thai Kwando family. Welcome to Miami Minutes, the show that has not forgotten what it has to do, which is deliver wonderful, excellent content right to your ears. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
Well, thank you for your hospitality, John.
Well, thank you for thanking me.
We're going very formal with this minute, apparently. Yeah, it's me. This was the co-host now. Oh my God.
Yes, and the minute in question, the minute you mentioned, is minute 20. We're all the way here. And the minute starts with deadly preparations and it ends with delicious mastication.
Oh, nice. Nice. Well done. Well done.
I've learned from the best.
Oh. So because we kind of started this like in the last minute, as I recall, just like the very, very formal meeting between Jeff and Yashito, considering these guys have been out partying. We've seen like at the beginning of the movie, like they're like, oh, come on down to Orlando, I'll show you a good time. And then coming up to see Yashito's is like, well, Jeff's like, okay, but I got my best suit on and bring it. Not to skip ahead too much, but like that guy in the chair, I'm certain. I think we were speculating last minute too that must be whoever the guy they're saying was in Miami.
Yeah,
that he was coming to meet. I think it's just Jeff's like chaperone or something, because he looks like just a big white thug.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the kind of indication was it was going to be like some, like a Japanese, like a Yakuza boss or something was going to be coming over.
Yeah, the big cheese from abroad.
Yeah, unless that's just what Yashito said to get Jeff down. It's like he won't come unless he has a reason. Oh no, this guy's over, Jeff, and then he gets down there. Jeff's dressed up in his best, like he's absolutely got his suit pressed and everything. He's just so ready to like, oh yeah, I'm meeting the boss.
But like, oh, you just missed him.
And like, oh no, I meant next month, Jeff. Oh no, got mixed messages. Oh, I gotta fire that secretary who picked up the phone there. It was me.
It was me all along. But you mentioned before, the formality, right? But and the sudden switch to formality from the previous. That is precisely why. Well, one of multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons why I do not entertain going to like work parties. I don't have any interest. I'm not going to the Christmas party this year. I'm not doing it because it's awkward. I can't have fun and relax and drink and then have to be formal like the next day or next week. It's weird.
No. See, I know a guy too who like when he goes out to party, it's just like, oh, there's going to be class A's involved. And even at his work, too. He said, at the amount of times he said to me, like, yeah, I'm really stressed about going back to work in January because, like, at the Christmas party, we were doing a load of coke in the bathroom.
See, that's weird.
And I talked to my boss afterwards. It's like, what did you do that for? Like, I was partying. What do you want from me?
You shouldn't do it. Do not do it. It's weird. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable for everybody. Even if you're having a great time at the time. You're not gonna next week.
Yeah. I think that's why, like, Jeff probably trying to keep things very not personal, probably got drunk when Yashito last came down. And so that's why Yashito, he asked, like, at one point, he's like, oh, so how's things with your sister? And it's just like, that night, Jeff's having a flashback to him crying about his sister. And like, oh, I'm so worried about it, Yashito.
He's consoling him on the bathroom floor.
Yeah. He's like, oh, man, I'm so embarrassed about all that. Yeah, I'm very worried you're still hanging out with this band.
I think that's only ever happened to me like twice ever. Thank God. And once was someone's birthday, and I was staying at our mutual friend Kit's house. I don't think I was supposed to be staying at his house, but I couldn't make it home. I fell asleep sitting up, holding a bucket.
Oh, nice.
Just in case. Yeah. And luckily it's only happened one other time. Other than that, I can get bad, but not like that.
Yeah. I've not been that way myself in like a long time. It's just like, it's now as you get older, it's like I can't be bothered with it's the aftermath I can't deal with. Like, it's just the whole, it writes off the next couple of days. Like, I'll just rather get mildly buzzed and then just sort of cruise afterwards rather than get decimated and then remain decimated in a different way for 48 hours.
You learn, it's something you learn with age and experience and time, isn't it? You're like, oh, okay, this is the exact amount I can have.
Yeah.
One more and I'm going to go over the edge. This is the perfect. But when you're like young, not only does it not affect you that much, but you don't You don't know. You go from fine to just destroyed in a minute.
Yeah, but we know a guy, though, who frequently hosts parties where he's still up every time. He's up to like 5:30 a.m. still going. He's older than us. It's like, but then they're like, oh, no, it's destroyed the next day. It's like, of course you were. Why the hell are you still doing it?
Actually, thinking about it, there has been one time recently where I have been bad. I completely forgot it. I might have told you before. It's because I met someone on Tinder who's younger
no, you did mention this. Yeah.
They're younger than me, and my impression was younger people, they don't like to drink that much these days. That's what I've been told by the media. Not this group. I thought, oh yeah, I'll be cool. I'll keep up with them. No, I don't know how I got home, and I woke up on the floor of the living room with my coat and shoes on. I was like, where am I? What's going on? So don't go drinking with like people in their mid to late 20s. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
No. Unless you are like so hardcore that you just never grew out of that. Like if you've been maintaining that for like however many years, then by all means keep going.
Yeah. I mean, you probably at this point will have to, or you'll die.
Yeah.
Like Lemmy. Well, he's dead now, but
that was always the rumor. Yeah. It's like if you stop drinking a bottle of whiskey a day, the system will go into shock. Basically.
I mean, I would drink a bottle of whiskey a day if I could, but I couldn't. But the formality that you mentioned, I think in a way, it's also not just the clothes and things; it's the way they're speaking to each other, isn't it? Like, business is business. Keep it separate. Because he's like, do not forget what you have to do. And could that sound any more suspicious? And could I sound any more like Chandler Bing? That was not deliberate.
Could I sound? Could this be any more of a Miami Minutes podcast? No, because it's again though we've been joking about it, but it seems to be mostly Jeff that's enforcing the formality because he's like because Yoshito's all like, oh, hope you have a good time. Like he seems like, yeah, we're here, man. Like I've got my robe on. Like that's good.
Yeah.
And Jeff's like, yes, thank you for your hospitality.
And of course, you mentioned he's asking about his sister. Hook a brother up. He's after some deets. He wants those digits.
It was just the way the manner of the delivery though brought to mind another so bad it's good classic though. Just like, oh no, don't even ask. So anyway, how's your sex life?
It is very that.
This is Yoshito's way. He's like, oh no, I can't even move the coke through Miami. Oh, don't even ask. So anyway, how's your sister?
I think it's so awkward to ask, hey, how's your sister? Like, there's no way that doesn't sound like I'm trying to shag her.
Yeah, there is no other way. Unless Yoshito was literally like their dad or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty much you say like I think even if you refer to her by name, it is just always weird to be like, how specifically is your sister? Like, It's always very like, you could just say how. I guess they'll make the same times. Like if he says, how's the family? He'd be a bit like, well, my family's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that, man. I spent 15 minutes crying on that bathroom floor telling you all about it.
I think the only other way you could justify it is if like, oh, he knew that she was sick. Like, oh, how's your sister? How's she doing?
Yeah.
But in this context, it's 100% like, I'm trying to dip my wick.
Yeah. Just even that term though, I was saying like, how's the family? It just still reminds me of wasn't that bit in Purple Rain where like Prince's dad like he blows up in the mum and like there's hospitalizations and everything's just like it's the worst he's ever been and all this sort of stuff. And then like Prince is sitting in the dressing room ready to go on stage and Morris Day walks past at the time cackling away and he just stops and goes like, hey, how's the family?
It's such a dick move. I love it.
Yeah. At the same time, it was like he's playing himself in the movie. Why would you agree to play yourself as such an asshole?
I don't know. Imagine if Prince said to you, like, do you want to be in my movie? You'd be like, oh, yeah, brilliant. Like, what am I playing? The villain. You're like, okay, cool. What's my character's name? Morris Day. Hang on a minute.
And by the way, Morris, I now own that name. which is the current bind he's in, where it's like, I can't tour as myself because Prince's estate owns the name Morris Day.
That's so insane, isn't it? I'd be like, come on, I'll do it, but I'm not being called Morris Day in the fucking movie.
Although, unless it was, you're playing yourself, right, Prince? Like, no, I'm playing the kid. Like, why am I playing Morris Day? And you're like, just do what I tell you, Morris. Right.
To be fair, though, the kid is also a prick.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Well, that was my original hurdle when I first watched the movie all those years ago. I was like, he's such an unlikable character.
Yeah.
And then it was only like after sort of letting that settle and rewatching it, I'm like, it's actually not a bad movie. But
no, it is actually good. Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. But a good movie. Good movie.
I thought you were going to say one of the greatest hiatus episodes of all time, which would be an accurate statement, I think.
It would.
Yeah, we'll look up Batman's coverage of Purple Rain, a two-parter with Dale Kingsmill and Omar Najam. That was very good times. Good times.
It's up there in my favourite things we've ever done. So go and check that out, everybody. But not until you finish listening to this.
I just think in terms of the again, I feel Yashito, he's so trying to be like friends with Jeff, in that. Just looking from like the opening shots of this minute, where like you get that long shot of the little room they're in.
Oh, and the guys over there doing their kata.
Yeah. But then, so you get Jeff and Yashito are sitting at this little table between them, sitting on even keel. But there's this big wicker kind of, I would borderline call it like a throne, and that's who like the other guy is sitting on that. Where you think normally Yashito been the boss man, he'd want to be in the big chair and make Jeff sit over there. But the fact that he's actually again, Yashito seems like, beyond those opening minutes, he seems like such a nice man.
Yeah,
he's like,
he does.
I'm having trouble getting the money and all. So come on down. I'll sit and have tea with you. And then ask about your family. Like, it seems like he's a lovely fella. So,
yeah. He just got caught up in something.
Yeah.
And he's so high up now, he can't get out. But that chair's even more reason. I think the guy might be the boss.
No,
but then again, he closes the door for everyone.
He's
the boss
wandering
wouldn't
behind
do
them.
that.
Yeah, no, if he was the boss, they would be talking to. They wouldn't just wander off themselves and let him straggle behind. Like he is the goon. Like he's just there for, Jeff just brought him as a buffer to be like, okay, Yashito, like just this is my buddy. We're gonna hang out, okay?
Oh, you've got other friends, have you?
Yeah. It's like, I've got to go. All my friends, I got doing their exercises. Jeff, I don't need you.
I've got more friends than you.
Of course, Jeff would be abhorrent to the idea of friendliness.
We get one of my favorite lines in the movie as well when they're walking along, because you get Jeff talking about his sister. He's like, I'm really concerned about her. She's still hanging around with that damn band Dragon Sound. I'm like, dude, even if you don't like them, they're certainly nothing to be concerned about. They're little dweebs. Like, what are they up to?
You seen the Dragon Sound stage show?
Yeah, but in the grand scheme, you'd be concerned if she was hanging out with like gangsters, right? Even if he's a gangster, that's always the kind of the weird, funny thing, isn't it? It's like, well, I'm a gangster, but my sister can't date a gangster. No, it's like in wrestling. I always bring up wrestling. It's a thing, like, you don't want your daughter to date a wrestler if you're a wrestler. It's like, no.
Totally, yeah. I just thought it was weird, though, that he's like, he knows that she's going out specifically with one of them, but he's more concerned about the fact she's hanging out with the band. Like, Jeff is just like, this band is clearly, like, running a train on my sister, okay? It's not just the one guy.
Maybe that's what it is, because my all I could think was, well, at least they seem like nice boys. She's not going to get taken advantage of. They're wet lettuces. But yeah, maybe he thinks they're all having a go.
I think it's part of his psychological makeup, though. That even though those guys are like, they stepped in to break up a fight, and they weren't even frightened of him at all, John,
at all.
Clearly they came across as the good guys in that scenario, but Jeff is just of the mindset of like, I have to protect my sister. God damn it! I think the fact that she's hanging out with anybody is bad enough, but with a band, and it could be that he's like the what was that? There's that famous still from like there's like one comic book where Batman turns out to really hate punk music or something. And he's so like, punk is the death rattle. There's this random rant he goes on about punk music.
To be fair, most versions of Batman would not like punk. Most versions. I mean, Robert Pattinson's version might.
Oh no, Robert Pattinson, he's cracked. That was still the revelation in the movie to me, was that like I always assumed that something in the way. The Nirvana was like that's just playing in the trailer. That's not it. Then they go, no, it's in the movie. And then they indicate, no, he's playing it in the Batcave. You see him turn a knob and the volume goes up. It's like, what? He's sitting around listening to Kurt Cobain. What?
It's a good way to have an emo moment without him literally listening to garbage emo. Imagine
garbage.
if he played My Chemical Romance. Like, oh, for God's sake.
I was just getting mad at him sitting there, stupid girl.
Oh, yeah, garbage.
That's when he's looking at pictures of Catwoman. She's not so hot, but she's so hot.
Yeah, you can't blame him.
No.
Although he does like proper spy on her, doesn't he? At one point, that's a bit weird.
Oh yeah. That's one of the best scenes in the movie, though. I've got like. Speaking of Omar Najam, I remember he put up a thing about like. I must remember actually to get him specifically for the minutes in Mask of the Phantasm, because he put up a thing saying Batman would never watch a woman change.
Whoa.
And I was like, you look at Mask of the Phantasm. Oh yeah, he would. So but the thing, not in a pervy way. I think he'd be more like, I'm Batman. I'm not thinking about it that way. If I don't watch her while she's changing, she could do anything. So
exactly. And also, the beauty of comic books and then expanding into movies is there's different versions of these characters. Some Batmen may watch a woman change, and some may not.
I mean, that Val Kilmer one, he showed up and chased Meridian when she was naked under the silk sheets. He was out in that balcony for a while.
He spent 15 minutes having a little peek.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Oh, he took that long, did he?
Well, he likes to enjoy himself. That's all I'm saying.
He's lighting candles out there for himself.
I record the podcast by candlelight.
Ooh.
Miami by candlelight.
I was just thinking in the background there, because we get the return of the ninja beefeaters.
Yeah,
they're sitting around. Because I got curious about beefeaters. I looked up. Just like, where's the term beefeater actually come from? And I was stunned to see, like, do you know what their? I'm assuming you probably would know, John, but like what their actual title is.
You're assuming because A, I'm English, and B, I like history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I suspect the way you've worded that, I don't know the answer to this.
Well, now I will go with that, because I think if you did, you would be like, of course I know, and you would jump in with the ridiculously long actual name of the beefeaters.
Right. No, the name I was thinking is not long, so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, well, what are you thinking? This is going to be terrible now.
No, I'm not going to say now because it's going to be shit.
No, apparently their actual title is the Yeoman Warders of His Majesty's Royal Palace and the Fortress of the Tower of London, and members of the Sovereign Bodyguard of the Yeoman Garth Extraordinary.
This sounds like the title of a communist text. They're all this long.
Yeah, it just keeps on going, but it gets down then to like, but we have to end on a big note, so it's like, the members of the Sovereign Bodyguard of the Yeoman Guard Extraordinary.
Adding extraordinary to the end of any title is fantastic.
But they always do this thing of, they're like, well, obviously no one's going to say that. So then like, they're just called beefeaters now. Apparently, the legend goes that it was Cosimo il de Medici, Grand Duke of Tuscany, who went to the court of the king in 1669. And when he saw the yeomen of the guard, he noticed that they were given a rather large ration of beef daily. And so he started calling them beefeaters. And that's where people believe it's from.
And he's French.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that all ties together. That is so perfect because, do you know, I don't know if they still use it, but do you know what the French slang for English people is?
I mean, I can pause it, I guess, to a couple.
It is les roast beefs.
Ah.
The roast beefs.
Yeah, there you go. There was a whole big thing then in the etymology of talking about like beef is just associated with the English and stuff, and they're saying that some old French terms that would refer to like the commoners as like the loaf eaters. And so then it became to like, well, the King's Guard would be like, the beef eaters, basically.
Oh, because they're posh, they get the beef.
Yeah. Some people also think it comes from the French term a bouffe. I'm saying it in a French accent. Sorry, a bouffe-eater, which means waiter or servant. But apparently a lot of people are just like, nah.
No, I'm going with the beef thing because of the roast beef slang. It all ties together. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
That's great. I suppose the equivalent these days is calling someone a gammon.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, what would we call Yashito's beef eaters? And he's just gonna knock these guys. Because I know it's a discipline. I don't know if I could do that though. This just the sitting in just complete silence for how long? How
when
long
you're into this martial art kind of world, that's a fantastic test. You always want to test yourself if you're that kind of person, don't you? So you would look forward to that, I imagine.
Yeah. Particularly too if you have to run around all day. And it's like, no, at this point you just have to sit down. It's great.
You'd be like, oh, thank God. Yeah.
But we get in there, of course, the return of the ninja dog, who's you don't think it's a statue. I'm maintaining that is Yashito's pet dog that's just so well trained. It's just standing there keeping an eye on these guys to make sure they do their goddamn sitting properly.
It's the greatest ninja of all.
Yeah. And then I noticed too, like we go past the big Jenga assemblage that was there in the opening minutes as well. And it's like, okay, so it had a whole thing written down about like maybe they have to stay so still because the Jenga thing's so sensitive. Like if you move slightly, it'll all fall down. Notice up at the top, there's a fan right next to it, like a moving roof fan. I'm just tense looking at it right now.
That's part of the challenge as well. Don't be distracted by that fan. If you believe, it will stand.
And at one point, then the dog just starts barking at them. Suddenly, and then as soon as they do that, the whole thing topples, and Yashito's like, "Oh, you absolute failure!"
Exactly, because they could not hold it in. They couldn't believe.
Imagine that Yashito's coming past with Jeff. It's like, "Oh, look, this is my dog. He's my best friend, Jeff." And Jeff's something to be like,
well, as they say, a dog is a ninja's best friend.
He said, like, Yashito would be like, "Do you agree with the term a dog is a ninja's best friend, Jeff?" And he's just like,
of course, yes.
Although knowing Jeff's backstory, he probably had a dog. It's like, oh, the dog's dead too. Like
it died around the same time as my father.
Yeah, it'll be one of those things like, oh, so yeah, my whole family died, and then the mother worked through the college, and then died, as Jane put it. I'm like, oh yeah, we had a dog. Yeah, saved my sister from a flaming car wreck. Yeah. Then it entered Crufts and all the best dog shows to put me through college, and that's how I got where I am today. And then it died, and so I don't like to talk about my. It's like, oh, Jeff, do you have any pets? A pet. I never grow attached to something like that.
Turns out this is actually Jeff's dog stuffed.
Yeah, it's Yashito's like, it's a gift for you.
Yeah, he's got it as a present.
Jeff's just really hard. Like, that's why he's like so quiet and subdued in this meeting. He's just really trying to keep his emotions together. Like, oh, thank you for your hospitality.
He's gonna let it all out when he gets home with that dog. Bless him. Although he does come out with something. Oh God! After he mentions Dragon Sound, I said before, Yashito says to him, "You need to get rid of that band so we can control that area."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait, hang on, what? Why? Why does he think that the band's mere existence prevents their drug trade? They're a pop rock group.
I think he puts it in even more of a he phrases it in such a way that it is like there's no mistaking like what he's saying. He says like, we need to get rid of that band so you can control that area.
Yeah, like it's as if Dragon Sound are moving in and selling drugs.
Yeah. Or maybe he believes like, oh yeah, that band are like the judge, jury, sonic wonderkind, and executioner of Orlando.
Well, that's the thing. We know, having seen the full movie. I mean, yeah, they're there to clean up the streets in a weird way. They don't even know it yet, but they're going to kick ass. They're going to sort things out, but they don't know it. Yashito doesn't have a fucking clue.
It's like, what was it? They just got really drunk and watched the band and then just misinterpreted all the songs as being some kind of threat. Like, this is against the ninja thing. What the hell is this about? We're ninjas.
Well, to be fair, yeah, they are quite explicitly saying they're against ninjas.
Yeah. There was, in fact, Dragon Sound that were recorded Escape from Miami. Yashito might be like, holy, these guys are singing my life. Are they watching me? Like, are they undercover cops?
Oh, that's what he thinks, yeah.
But no, that line really... Because so much of it is kind of like, well, this is kind of makes sense as a ninja movie, I guess. You know, it's not that ridiculous. And then throwing in a thing like, oh yeah, you need to get rid of that band so you can control that area. And it's like,
how are they stopping drugs? But in a weird way, bands usually promote drugs.
yeah. I think you just saw them one time. It was just like, oh, that guy can hold dude's nose with his toes. Like, they're clearly a threat to my interstate drug empire.
It's such a bizarre attitude, but I fucking love it.
Maybe it goes back even further, though. Is that why Yashito was invited down to see Dragon Sound? Because Jeff's like, I can't move anything because this goddamn Dragon Sound. It's just like, maybe he's just very, very shy. And he's just like, I don't know. These guys might do something. I can't tell. I guess they know Taekwondo. They keep singing about it.
I guess if I'm really stretching my brain and I'm sort of trying to justify it, I guess you could say, right, maybe, in that previous band were working the club, maybe because of who they clearly are, as we saw earlier, they, brought a certain clientele and they let anything happen at the club. So maybe they were dealing drugs there, but now if Dragon Sound are in, that was one of their things to the owner. They're like, okay, we'll sign on as your house band, but you got to clean the place up. So maybe that's it. We don't want any drugs at our shows.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because they know that the club owner will enforce things too, because he had a physical fight for Dragon Sound randomly.
Yeah. So maybe that's it. Maybe Mark's turned around and gone, this place, I like the place, but there's been some trouble, and we don't want any trouble. We just bring a positive message.
Yeah. Maybe the previous band, are they working for Jeff, and maybe at shows they were just throwing drugs out into the audience or something?
And what? The audience for throwing change onto the stage?
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's an honor system. We trust you're all gonna pay for this, okay? But because that might somewhat explain that whole scene of the band fighting, because it was just so baffling at the time. But
there you go. It's the only explanation that makes any goddamn sense.
Yeah, so I guess Jeff controlled that band. A new club owner came in, took over, kicked that band out because he believes in Dragon Sound's message, I guess.
Yeah.
And then now they can't sell drugs anywhere else or something like that. No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It's the closest I can come to an explanation. It kind of makes sense to me, I guess, because it would annoy them if they're used to dealing at that club, right?
Yeah.
Although, how much money is there in that? Well, it was described as the hottest club, so I guess it's lucrative. So maybe
it's it's kind of like a weird Roadhouse thing. So when they go, they just get in a new bouncer, and somehow that's a threat to the entire criminal organization of the town.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to go for if they had a scene of Mark, seeing drugs been dealt in the club and pointing it out on stage and going down and making an example of the people.
Yeah.
Then it would work. It's oh yeah, that band's out there. They are a threat because the cops don't operate in that area, but that band's taking it upon themselves to do something about this.
Yeah, or even just an anti-drug song.
Well, we never see the full Dragon Sound set, I guess. So
that's true. And the 80s was full of cheesy anti-drug songs.
Oh, I 100,000,000% believe the Dragon Sound would have an anti-drug song.
Yeah.
And it would be the cheesiest, It'd all be all about how your friends can help you get through it and stuff, and all the other hobbies you could have instead, and things like that.
Like Taekwondo.
Yeah. I've truly Dragon Sound are the type of guys who would have written the Captain Planet theme tune.
Yeah.
That's their version of rock. It's just just good wholesome messages,
For all the family.
It would have been if only he had lived. Perhaps, Scatman John of Scatman's World. Oh. People, I know you don't forget it, John, but some people do forget that Scatman John, beyond I'm a Scatman, he had the second single, Scatman's World, which was just about him promoting this utopia that he wanted the world to be.
I think it's his best song.
Yeah, it's so heartfelt that you're he seems like I'm really sad that man's dead. He seemed like such a cool guy. But
calling out from Scatland. calling out from Scat Man's world.
He just likes scat jazz, not the other type of scat.
Well, Niall, you don't know that. He might have liked both types of scat equally.
That was the greatest trick the devil ever pulled. Was the scat man convincing people he was talking about jazz. That's what he was doing.
No, I hate jazz.
That that's not me scatting. That's me doing the sound effect of.
It's him eating ass.
Speaking of which, Yashito mentions like, oh, so you remember what you have to do, right? Jeff's like,
whoa, wow, yeah.
It's like, it does have a slight vibe as well, though, because he's in his robe. And Jeff's in like a nice suit, and he is kind of ushering him out and telling him, have a good time. It is almost as if he's sending him to like, oh, I got the hottest prostitutes in town, Jeff. Like there's a slight vibe about there where he's like, he's sending him out to have a good time, you know?
Yeah,
like,
why not? You know, go have fun. Yashito's about the fun.
If this movie had the budget and wasn't so wholesome, despite all the insane violence. I can imagine a scene of like Yashito leading Jeff into like a room full of like scantily clad women that he just has or something, and that being the scene. But now it's more of a kind of implied, you came all the way down here to have this meeting, and now I'm telling you to go have a good time, and I guess I'm just ushering you out somewhere. But
he's being very nice about it. He's escorting him. He's taking him outside, and as they head outside, there's this ninja in the middle who sort of moves to the right as the camera pans. The stance on this ninja, what a sassy little minx.
Yeah, I'm a little like, because you pause at like 29 seconds.
That's exactly the second I'm paused on right now.
It is a sassy. It also kind of looks like, is this part of his training? Is he trying to blend into the tree?
And failing miserably.
He's like, oh, that's only because the camera's in motion. Like, if this was a still frame, you would never know that ninja was there.
Well, plus, he seems to be holding his sword very strangely. If you look, am I looking at that right? It's like behind his back, but he's reaching around and holding the bottom of the scabbard for no particular reason. Yeah,
that is totally exactly what it looks like. And it does. Yeah, it kind of looks like he's midway between being like an imperial officer and trying to blend into the tree, like as if he was trying to kill Yashito. Like, this is my hiding spot. I got the best spot in the whole compound.
Maybe that is part of the training. He's supposed to jump out and just go, I got you, boss.
Well, I mean, much like in the Pink Panther movies, Kato, which is attack Inspector Clouseau to keep him on his feet. Why wouldn't Yashito? Just like, keep them coming. Yeah, I always have guys who attack me, just so I can defeat them, to prove that I've still got it and stuff.
Plus, he's the boss now, so it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of pencil pushing. It's he says to his guys, keep me on my toes. I want to keep my skills sharp.
Yeah. I did note, too, that I'm sure it's just because he's moved into a normal, let's say normal, a standard American house. But, within, it's got all the, the Asian sliding paper doors and stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, some of the outside looks a bit kind of Japanese-y. That little staircase.
Well, yeah, and it also appears to be a very similar looking kind of window. But it's just so weird then to see this, it's just a big wooden door. Like, I was like, I thought they would have just had the whole thing would be all, I'm not educated in that fashion about, Japanese architecture. I know that they do have buildings that have doors. But I would have thought a place that would have, like, the sliding paper doors, the whole building would be like that, rather than just sticking a random normal door in the center of it.
Well, you need some security. And those paper doors, as we saw in The Simpsons, you can just walk through them. No,
that's what happens.
In real life, you can't.
The thieves come and say, I can't get through this door. Oh, wait a minute, I'll just walk through the window beside it.
That's one of my favourite bits in that episode of The Simpsons. He just keeps walking through them over and over.
But yeah, I'm guessing I'm guessing this ninja is just standing guard. But yeah, you're right. The stance is just like, I can't take that seriously. Like, I'd rather he was up in the tree, like, hiding up there or something, rather than standing like. It does have a kind of slight vibe of like a school kid who's been put in the goalie position during football, and he's just standing around really bored, like, and you're on your feet for a while. you can't really. So he's just doing anything with his legs to kind of keep them a little bit, you know.
This sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah, yeah. And I always thought, like, oh, I'll just always volunteer to be goalie because I just didn't want to actually have to play. And then you don't realize that just means that they're going to be firing balls at you all the goddamn time.
That's the thing. Yeah, it sounds easy until you're caught in the middle of it. It's like, oh my god, this is a nightmare. I'm in hell.
But then so what happens next then is Yashito says to Jeff, "I'll see you in Miami soon." Right?
Yeah.
And so we talked about last minute. I thought this was Miami. They're back in. Maybe Yashito lives midway between or something. Like,
yeah, maybe it's like as we call them here in Liverpool, listeners. Maybe he's a wool.
Yeah,
maybe he says he lives in Liverpool, but he doesn't really. You know, it's like, well, you're fake.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't claim to be. You're living in goddamn Burbank. Yashito, you're nowhere near.
There probably is arguments like this, you know. Yeah, it could be something like that, or we were so confused in the last minute, we've probably forgotten what we've bloody said.
I think it was just that. Oh, it seemed to be. He bragged about moving a lot of coke in Miami. We knew that the opening drug deal was in Miami, so we assumed his house must be in Miami. And then now the way he says that, unless he's just like he's saying it in a. I miss you already, Jeff. Get away. Like, I'll see you in Miami again soon, right?
Please, yes.
It's like, I can't, like, partying is such sweet sorrow, Jeff. Please tell me you'll be back soon.
Oh, bless. We love him.
Jeff's just like, so that guy is coming down next week, right? It's like, yeah, sure, Jeff. Yeah, he'll definitely be here then. Yeah. I'd hate to have to come all the way back down here again. And the guy's not even here. No, he's definitely
has to come up
here.
with increasingly ludicrous explanations for why he's not there.
Also, I heard something. It was when I was listening to that interview with John Peters, and because he met with Elvis to star in the version of A Star Is Born that has like Barbra Streisand in it, because that's John Peters. One of his big breaks was like he produced massive Oscar-nominated hit Star Is Born remake, starring Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, the first remake.
Yeah, I don't even know if it is the first remake. I think it might be. I think A Star Is Born like dates back to like the 1930s. It could be like the third or fourth remake.
Oh, it could be. I mean, I've heard of the original. I've heard of that one, and then Lady Gaga. I assume that was it, but maybe there's more.
I think it was originally called something else, and it was made way back when, and then they remade it, called it A Star Is Born, and it had Judy Garland. And then there might be another one in between, and then I think it's the Barbra Streisand version, and then Lady Gaga, I think.
So there's at least one more than I mentioned then, at least.
Yeah, I think there could be like TV versions and stuff in between as well, but yeah, because and it was, this is during Elvis's like proper, morbidly, overweight and like just hanging out in Vegas to die. He's just, if you watch that Elvis movie, they make no bones about it. He was flat out like basically imprisoned in Vegas.
Oh, I feel sorry for him. I really do, because
totally.
People make fun of him and stuff, but he was used and exploited and trapped. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, he didn't want to be there. He was sort of just forced into that scenario. But yeah, John Peters was saying like Elvis was having a fight with his girlfriend at the time, and he was just like, "Yeah, I've got her circling, up in the sky at the minute. I've had her up there for like the last 2 hours waiting to land. I'm not too sure when I'm going to do it because I'm still pretty angry at her." So basically, she was like flying in to see Elvis, and they'd had a fight, and just out of spite, he just called up the airplane and was like, "Just keep circling until I tell you to come down."
That's insane.
And even John Peters saying this, like he's saying it in a kind of like, isn't that crazy kind of way, as if John Peters is not the most clinically insane man who's ever worked in Hollywood. The fact that he's going, that's a bit much, Elvis, is like,
that says a lot. If John Peters thinks you've gone too far.
Yeah. So, but yeah, wouldn't put it past the Yashito to be like, just keep making Jeff constantly fly back down and fly back and then fly back down again. I just like seeing you so much, Jeff.
Oh, bless.
Your fluffy beard reminds me of my beloved dog in there.
Oh.
Jeff does have a very dog-like facial hair. Maybe this is a tribute to like his dog dad that raised him before it died. You know?
Oh, yeah. It is a bit like a Jack Russell's facial hair, I think.
Yeah, maybe it was a little Jack Russell. It's like, oh yeah, basically after our parents died, it basically raised me and Jane. So this is a tribute. I learned all my best grooming techniques from that dog.
And that's why he gets so aggressive so easily. It's his defensive posture.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
It's like, come at me, bro. Come on. But really inside he's shaking.
It's just like, yeah, like when that dog was down, its last barks indicated to Jeff, it's like, make sure to use the right shampoo for your beard.
It's the most important lesson of all. I've saved it for last.
But then, yeah, we hard cut to the heroes of the movie. Woo. The dragon sound in question. These ne'er-do-wells who are leading Jeff's sister into a life of sordid debauchery.
More like a life of wholesomeness.
Well, here's one thing, though, I did note as the scene went on. Because it's obviously been a couple of days for Jeff, because he's been like, you know, we saw him get that phone call, then he's had to go all the way down to Miami, which, you know, it's at least been a day or two.
Yeah.
And yet Dragon Sound, all dressed in exactly the same clothes as they were the last time we saw them.
They're poor Orpans. What are they supposed to do? They can't afford loads of clothes.
They've been out partying, John. Jeff's right about these guys. They've been in that nightclub, getting high on their own supply, which is just love. And just partying all day and all night.
Tripping balls, and now this is them having to get a bit of energy in them by going down the restaurant.
Oh yeah, the what's his name again? Uncle Sang?
Uncle Song.
Uncle Song. Yeah.
Uncle Song. It's his restaurant, and I love it. It looks like a great place to me. This is the kind of restaurant I would enjoy, and it reminds me a little bit of one of my favorites here, Big Bowl Noodle Bar. Looks a bit like Big Bowl with it, like the plastic tablecloths and everything. Oh, mwah.
I see. Well, I was under the assumption that like, oh, you know, it looks like he's serving them Asian food, and it looks like an Asian restaurant, and he is an Asian man, so it's kind of put things together, not making any presumptions. It's an Asian restaurant they're in.
Yes,
and I was a bit taken aback to see the ketchup and mustard on the table. I thought it was an odd addition. Ketchup, maybe. Mustard. What?
Yeah, it is odd. It is. Maybe he does other dishes as well. You know, maybe he normally does like burgers and things. But you know, when Mark comes around, it's like, I know what you like. Yeah, because it's his uncle. You know, so he's like, well, you know, I'll make you food from back home.
And to be fair, my go-to cheap, if I ever just need I just need food quickly, I'll go up to the end of the road to Smithdown Road, when near yourself, John. And my some Asian takeaway, they do the best cheeseburgers.
See, there you go.
Yeah, really amazing, really great chips. Cheeseburger meal. It's like £3.20. And you got a big, massive portion of chips. A beautiful cheeseburger. Like it's one of those ones like the cheese just really melts into the meat and stuff. It's fantastic. And then you get a drink as well. It's like £3.20 for all that. That's crazy.
That's insane.
I'm absolutely certain that it's not quality meat in any way, but like I suffer no delusions about that. I know it's probably the reason I keep having intestinal pains is probably because of
turns out it's poisonous.
It's like, how many times you go there? It's like, I've only been there once or twice this year. It's like, well, that was enough.
Oh, no, I mean, fair play. Eat what you can afford. Eat what you want to eat as well. Even if you can afford better, sometimes you don't want what's technically better.
I'll tell you, John. I can afford a better takeaway.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying you
there.
can't, but just in general, people, if you can't, that's fine. If you can, it still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you just want it, you have it.
Yeah. Oh, there was not just getting into spoilers, but there's a big thing about cheeseburgers in that new movie, The Menu. And it's like, just watching it, there's so many pretentious, like beyond Hannibal level food porn going on it, but it's really pretentious. Like one of the dishes he serves, it's a bread dish without the bread. So it's just like little like mini pretentiously arranged tubs of dips and stuff, and everyone's all like clapping.
Oh, and it's deliberately like making fun of it, taking the piss.
Yeah. Oh no, it's taking the piss out of high end restauranting. But then at one point, someone just asked for a plain old cheeseburger, And it's just, like, the way that they present that as well is like, oh my God, that looks so good.
Well, there you go. Now, this food, I was like, it's almost definitely, some kind of rice dish. But I think because of the quality of the footage, even though this has been tarted up a little bit, and the colours, are a little bit washed out with that old film, from certain angles, it looks like they're eating a shepherd's pie.
Oh, yeah.
They're blatantly not, though.
Oh, no, totally not. But sometimes it looks almost like it's a penne pasta or something as well. It could almost be mistaken for like a spaghetti bolognese at certain angles. But
I think actually sort of looking at it properly and trying to... It's some kind of fried rice, right?
Yeah. Well, I think you do hear under the cacophony of them discussing things. I think I can hear people going, rice, like a couple of times. Like they're exclaiming excitement about the fact that it's there and stuff. Also, I should say at 53 seconds...
Yeah.
It looks like a little bottle of vinegar on the table there, which is I would never assume that in a U.S. restaurant, unless it's soy sauce.
Oh, yeah. I was confused, and then as soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, soy sauce. Yeah.
Or maybe that's the way Mark likes it. He's like, he loves swimming in vinegar. That's how he likes his rice.
Asian vinegars don't tend to be like our weird malt vinegar over here. Very, very different vinegar.
Oh, did we go to my some, though? You make sure you get that vinegar on the chips. It's pretty top tier.
Oh, yeah, you got to have vinegar on chips.
But that's I will say, though, sort of a little, if I was Uncle Sung, I'd be a little bit offended to these guys.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, because they seem to be implying that he's like been sort of dragging his heels. Because they keep emphasizing, we need to eat up really quickly because we're going to be late and stuff like that. As if it's been him who's been keeping them behind the whole time.
That's the thing. He goes like, I wrote it down. We'll have to eat fast so we can get down to the club on time. I'm just thinking, nice one. Yeah, just say that out loud. Just let the chef know you're not going to appreciate the food. Good call. He's
been in there clearly by himself, trying to get enough food together for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
That's a big order.
Yeah, God knows what they're asking for. Like, this could be like one course of several.
That's true. The one thing in his favor is it looks like they're all having the same dish. Maybe.
Oh, this is a big tub or whatever he's putting together. But yeah, no, I would be a bit like, because it's not Mark saying it. That Mark would never say anything like that. It's that goddamn drummer, that drumming asshole. He's the one, but he's also one who says like, "Oh, Uncle Sung, you take really good care of us." It's like, you've been sarcastic. Are you taking? You want to start, Uncle Sung?
You can start smacking him around.
Like this. Come back to the kitchen. Come on back here.
You piece of shit. Show me some respect. I mean, he should be showing him some respect because not only, as you said, he's implying that possibly it's Uncle Song's fault that they're running late, and also, and you know what? We're not going to appreciate any of this. We're just going to wolf it down. We're not even going to taste it.
Yeah, they're just jamming it into them. And then another thing then, too, of like, you should give Mark the recepe for this.
No way.
Yeah. It's just like, we shouldn't have, give it to him so he could just make it for free at home. We want to come in.
We'll never, ever come here ever again. And in fact, we might put you out of business if Mark decides to start serving.
Yeah. Although, I get the vibe they probably aren't paying for this anyway. Like, this is probably like, Mark, come around. This is like, he's brought his friends. Like, I'll make dinner for all of you. It's probably a very loving gesture.
Or like, it's the scraps.
Yeah, he's like, I'll close early so you guys can have a nice dinner. And then, what thanks does he get? We're running really late. We better scarf this down as fast as possible. Oh, yeah, thanks for everything.
I'm starting to think these guys are the villains of the movie.
Yeah. If Jeff saw this, oh, boy. Like, he would... We know Jeff. Thanks you for your hospitality. He's very mannerly.
Yep. Formal, as we've said.
He'll dress up to go to your restaurant, I think. Like, if Jeff was there, he'd be there rocking the full-on Hannibal 3-piece, I think.
Then again, I mean, if I'm going to play devil's advocate, maybe they come here every day, and it's just, this is where they come for their dinner. I almost said tea, but Americans would be confused. This is where they come for their tea. And, maybe they're so close to him. It's sometimes formality kind of goes out the window when you're that close to someone. That's all I can think. But then again, that's a question I've actually written down is, do you think it's actually his uncle? Or is it one of those things where an older friend is revered and called uncle?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, especially in like Asian culture, I'm not speaking for all countries, of course, but you know, in quite a few, you do call someone that, you know, someone like venerated. It's like, oh, that's Uncle so-and-so.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, the comedian I love, Uncle Roger, you know, he grants people the title of uncle if they do well. So Gordon Ramsay, he was like, oh, you're Uncle Gordon. He's called him Uncle Gordon because he can pull off a few dishes.
Well, I think if he was his actual uncle, Mark would be kicked out of the Taekwondo orphanage. Like, it's like, well, you're not a true orphan. You've got an uncle. You're fine.
You're still an orphan without you know, he's got no mum and dad.
Not good enough. Go live with your uncle. Uncle Hammer.
He's not a gold star orphan.
Yeah. Particularly because, you know, Mark does seem to pull rank inside that orphanage. So I imagine he must be like the one who has the least family, really. So it could be like,
that's how it works. It's ranked.
Yeah. It could be like, you know, maybe he worked in the kitchen or something, like when, you know, whenever he first came to the US, and then he worked with this guy for a while, and then like, they became like, oh no, he's like an uncle to me, kind of thing. And then
that's what I was thinking. Maybe.
I was like, I hope you go off and make a load of friends, Mark, who can come in and freeload off my struggling business.
Do you know who plays Uncle Song?
I do. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I was holding off on this one for a little bit there. So Uncle Song is played by the director, Woo Sang Park, aka Richard. Yeah. He was around for, you know, this part of the filming at least, and got him a little role. I love it.
Maybe he just didn't like the way his character was being treated.
Yeah, he needs more respect.
He's like, I'm walking off this film. It's like, you're the director. You can do whatever you want. I'm out of here. Just swaggered off back to a plane.
No, it is good though that we get to see we have clarification on what some of the scenes he did, because it's one of those that's so up in the air. He's still listed as the director, but then all the documentaries are like, yeah, but like. Yeah, obviously, Grandmaster Kim had to come back and do a lot of stuff. He had to teach himself to direct because he didn't know what to do. So you're like, well, who did what? So at least we know these kind of scenes are done by him, and I think they're quite well shot. It feels very real, like a group sitting down to have a quick dinner.
Yeah, they're tight in. That's always a kind of way to indicate intimacy, to have the cameras right in amongst them. You kind of feel like you're there at the table with them.
Yeah, it's almost like we're sitting at the end chair here.
Yeah. That it adds the extra dimension now, though, of like them saying like, "Oh, you should give Mark the recipe." It's almost like, "Hey, Woo Sang Park, you should let this guy direct the movie instead.
You should give him some lessons and then fuck off."
Oh, he's getting really good with that camera, so he should make a movie. He should make this movie.
Oh, it's so weird. But no, it's good to see him, because I until I looked it up for this, I didn't know that was him. And I've seen this movie loads of times. I think
it's because they almost kind of like you have to go into the rabbit hole of it, really, don't? Because you go down to the character credit, and it's Woo Sang Park, and you're like, oh, it's Richard Park was the guy who directed it. It's only then when you click on it, you're kind of going through, and it's like it keeps saying director a lot around here, and then you see Woo Sang Park brackets as Richard Park. It's there you go. now it makes sense. But
it's the same guy. It's his English name.
Yeah. I think too, like he himself at least was given a little, because I know they're kind of establishing him because he does have a significant scene later, but they do hold on him for like
it's almost like going, remember this guy.
Yeah, it's a bit because it's just a whole bit of them going, thank you, and then it's just like 6 straight seconds of him nodding, going, just to be like, remember this man, he's gonna be coming back. But also, it might just be him going like, I made a movie. Like, I'm in it. Here I am.
It's like, Richard, are you sure we need to hold on you for this long? Yeah. No, it'll be better, honestly.
Really, my scene is integral later. It's like, I was going to say, Richard, I think we could actually cut that scene. That doesn't really add anything to it. And also the nightclub fight scene. It's like, no, we need more fight scenes. It's a random fight in my place. It's a random fight in that club, all right?
Hell yes.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, you treat us so well, Mr. Park. Uncle Park.
Oh, Uncle. You can be Uncle Niall.
No, I already am Uncle Niall, too. most of my friends' kids, I'm constantly getting called uncle now. So.
What do I go with? I suppose it technically depends, because I need a non-binary version. But I am uncle to my niece and nephew because it's simpler to explain to a child. You
don't want to go. Was the one Niblet? Was it the other one? Nibbling?
I hate all of those.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where it's just like, oh, that is Tumblr that's come up with that because it's too cutesy. It's like, by all means, come up with a spectrum of genders and stuff, but don't let these people name them because they're coming up with awful cutesy names.
That's the problem. Everything they come up with is like infantilizing, and it's not. It's like, no, that's not. It sounds like something a 6-year-old came up with.
Yeah, make it sound like it could actually be a thing.
Yeah. Come up with a proper word that sounds good, and that's cool then. And I actually think that would help people adopt it. But
because there is that impulse of, I'm not going to say that. It's not because I object to your life choices and the person that you are. I just refuse to say that word because I hate the sound of it in my mouth.
It is awful. It is. But I also understand the want for a word. It's like,
Yeah. You'll be sad to know, though, John, our plans back when that O.J. Simpson show was out to have me nicknamed Uncle Juice never it never came to be.
Well, if I win the lottery, I'll adopt a kid and I'll get them to call you it.
Although now, after the recent season of Chucky, I do kind of want Uncle Pants to become a thing.
Well, you are known for only wearing underpants.
And now as soon as I'm in the house, I'm just in the thermal underpants all the time now. It's that time of year, baby.
Hey, I've been in them non-stop for the past month.
Oh no, it's getting dire over here. Plus now you got this friggin' cost of living crisis. Like, what are we gonna do?
But I think that's all my notes about this.
Yeah, totally. That is minute 20 for me as well. I mean, we better get this podcast over with, John. We gotta get down to the.
Yeah, next time we'll do a 5-minute episode. Like, let's get this done. Let's get it out of the way. Okay, so this happens in a minute. Yeah, there you go. Bye.
Just gotta make it, passively aggressively sort of indicate to the listeners, like, yeah, you're really holding us up here, by making us do this podcast.
We've got other shit to do than talk about this fucking movie.
Yeah, so let's get the show over with. Yeah, so are you happy? You okay? Yeah, that was the show. Okay, we'll see it.
There is one final thing, though, Niall.
Of course.
The drinking game.
Oh, there's definitely family drama in this one, though. Oh, boy.
Well, this is the thing, right? So, number one, there's a mention of dragon sound.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, literally by name. So
I like the fact that Jeff made a point of saying their name, too, in case Yashito didn't quite get it. Like,
which
still hanging out with that
band are you talking about? ZZ Top? What?
Was Jane hanging out with the but no, Dragon Sound, the band we saw it with.
Oh, those martial arts guys?
Oh, you mean that band she's in? Yeah. Oh, I thought you moved on to someone else about it. No, it's only been 2 days. Are you crazy?
I thought she was a groupie. And yeah, can we class this as family drama? I think we can.
Like, definitely. Like, he's concerned about his sister. That is the definition of family drama.
I think so. And if this is his real uncle here, it's kind of... Well, if you take it at face value, it's not dramatic. But if you take it the way we've discussed it, it is dramatic because they're pissing him off.
Yeah, I think if you take it the face value, what's going on underneath his face? He's smiling. I think he's holding back you goddamn freeloaded, ungrateful little assholes.
Well, that's the thing. Do they? Oh no, they do. I was going to say, do they even thank him? They do thank him. I'll let them off with that. Well, take a swig. Anyway.
It's mostly just the drummer. He's like the main culprit. I think it's just him.
Well, drummers are the worst people in the world. Sorry, Tony, our drummer. Sorry. No, Tony's lovely. Actually, thinking about it, I think every drummer I've met has actually been nice because they never take the spotlight.
For a second, I thought you were going to say every drummer I've met has always been an asshole.
Always been a prick. Every single one of them. Hate them all. No, pretty much everyone I meet has been nice anyway. But that's 2 drinks there I've had. I can't think of any more. I think that's about it.
Is there any fist pumps and excitement for when the food comes out? Because
couldn't spot any. Maybe I'm being blind.
Those guys, dude, we've heard of them. They are very excited when the food arrives. They do. They convey that they are like, oh, great! There is that element of thank Christ is finally here, but also they do seem like they're genuinely going to enjoy the food.
Then again, maybe they came here to save time, because cooking from scratch at home would take too long. So they're like, right, okay, we're already running late. So we this is on the way. Let's just stop in and say, oh, we're in a hurry. Can you do something for us? We haven't got time to cook. Maybe.
But you know what I discovered the other day? And this, I thought I was going to be able to game the system. And I couldn't. God damn it. So I would never normally use this, but I was in a thing like I got, can't get into the kitchen. People there, it's busy. I could go in, but it's just like, it'd be easier to just go out and order food from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I haven't been to McDonald's in a while, and sometimes they have offers on if you use the app. And sure enough, they did. They had a 40% off. So I was like, I got a proper meal, full meal, £3.50.
Woo! You're the master of £3 burgers, aren't you?
Yeah, this was great. So I was like, all right. But what I'll do is you go order on the app, and then I'll just go, okay, I'll confirm it when I'm nearly there. So then they'll have time to cook it. And I'll be able to just walk in, it'll be done, and then walk straight back out again. No.
I've tried this before as well, not even with McDonald's.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, so they do this thing where, you try to go, when you're halfway there, you go, yep, I'm here. And they're like, no, you're not. They're like, we can see your location. We're tracking it through Google. It's like, all right, I'll try it again. Turn off location. And then it just goes, we can't seem to track where you are. It's like, well, I'm in the restaurant. Oh, no, you're not. It's like, so basically then you go and you get there. When you're inside the grounds, then you go, okay, now order. And then they have to make it from freaking scratch. And it's like, well, I was trying to make it faster by just, why do you need me to be in the building? What help is that? But
it's so frustrating. I had this on Deliveroo, which Americans, what's that? It's like Uber Eats. We've also got Uber Eats. I think they've got that, haven't they? It was a restaurant down the road. It was the Korean one. What's it called? It's on Smithdown Road. That new Korean one.
If it's not my son, Smithdown, John, I wouldn't know.
But so I ordered it on there, and I was going to collect because it had money off if you collected. So I was like, okay, I'll collect. I put the time I wanted to collect it. Because you could choose. It's like, oh, when do you want to pick it up? So I put, 7 p.m. or something. I got down there at 7 p.m. And then they were like, oh, okay. And they started cooking it. I'm like, man. Fucking bastard.
Yeah. That should be as soon as you press order, just trust that because when I'm back in Ireland and I ring for collection, when you actually ring them, they start making it as soon as you hang up. So it'll be ready when you get there.
And there's even less reason with these apps to not do that because I've already paid. It's took the money. Just cook it.
But the thing now, maybe this is what happened with Dragon Sound, where they called up, oh yeah, Uncle Song, and then they got there. He's like, oh, I'll start cooking now. I was like, what do you mean start cooking? we ordered it half an hour ago, so it'll be ready when we got here.
Oh, we really sound like Larry David here, don't we? This is like an episode. This is like something that would happen on Curb.
Also, maybe I know he's still season 12 on its way. So
and he'd be trying to, gauge that with Leon. Yeah, what do you think they should be doing? He's like, those motherfuckers should be cooking.
They have that motherfucking food when I walk in that motherfucking door.
Larry David, if you're listening, here's a plot idea.
I was very happy to see as well there that he's back from the dead. Friggin' Richard Lewis, he's like, oh, he's going to be in the next season in a big bad way. Because remember last year it was like, yeah, he's not, he's very, very sick.
Yeah, I wasn't doing well.
He's come in for the one cameo. It might be his last. He might not make it. And then now it's just like, Richard Lewis, he's all over the next season. He's like, he's back, baby.
Why not?
Yeah, it's looking forward to it.
But what you can look forward to, listeners, is our next minute in 1 week's time. And we look forward to hearing from you on Facebook at Miami Minutes Taekwondo Orphanage, Twitter at Miami Minutes, Instagram Miami Minutes. What else? Why don't you email us, miamiminutespodcast@gmail.com. People contact us, but they don't email us because everybody has social media now. But the email's there if you want it. It's there. It's ready to use. And, look us up, Patreon, TeePublic, all that nonsense. And we will see you again. Well, we won't really. It's just it's a figure of speech. In 1 week's time for more Miami Minutes.
Listen to me.